Gaza. We know that this conference it came to life from domestic interests. It is not diplomacy. When Hamas is praising this conference and calling it the fruit of October 7th, we know it's a problem. If a terrorist organization is supporting what's happening here, it's shameful. Many leaders today will speak about the future when Hamas will not be part of Gaza, but I will ask them, who is going to do that? Who is going to actually make sure that Hamas is not part of Gaza? The responsibility is on our shoulders. Israel is committed to continue this war until we bring back all the hostages and until Hamas is out of the game completely. That will be the time that we can speak about the future, not before and not with hollow gestures like we will see in a few minutes. Thank you.
What do you think Macron and the Commonwealth, the British Commonwealth, is doing this to Israel? And also, what comments do you have towards Mondani, if elected mayor? He said he would implement the rest of the Prime Minister Netanyahu, sir.
Well, first, the candidate Mondani should read the Constitution of the U.S. and to learn the rules of democracy. He has no mandate on this issue. Prime Minister Netanyahu will come to speak here on Friday, and he will continue to come to speak here, even if he will get elected. I'm not getting involved in the local politics. But to President Macron and other leaders, I would say we are disappointed. On October 8th, you stood with Israel. You spoke about the hostages. Today you're moving on. You're trying to leave the hostages behind. We will not forget them. This war will not end with hostages still in Gaza.
Transcendental television. Michael Lippin with VOA News. How much coordination does Israel have with the U.S. delegation here at the UN to try to counter this wave of recognitions of a state of Palestine that we've seen, and how much support is the U.S. providing?
We are coordinating our efforts with the U.S. First, I want to congratulate Ambassador Mike Waltz for finally coming here. We were waiting for him for a long time, and we will continue to coordinate our efforts. Both the U.S. and Israel will not participate in this charade. We will not enter the GA hall, and we will not take part in this charade.
Ambassador, Showdown with China Central Television. Just one question, very fundamental question. Is Israel still in recognition of the two-state solution?
Before October 7th, there was a debate about that in Israel. After October 7th, it's off the table. Now we are focused on bringing the hostages. We are focused on eliminating Hamas. And when the day will come that there will be a genuine Palestinian leadership that will condemn terrorism, you're going to hear President Abbas soon. He is paying salaries to terrorists as we speak. When the day will come that there will be genuine leadership, we will speak with the Palestinians. We are a peaceful nation. We signed multiple peace accords, and hopefully we will sign more accords in the near future. No.
Ambassador, today Hamas reportedly sent a letter, or was going to send a letter to President Trump, saying that they are willing to release half of the hostages in exchange for a 60-day ceasefire. What is Israel's response?
Well, Benny, I have seen the report. I don't know if it's true or not. We are putting more pressure now on Gaza City, and we are very happy to see that the population is moving out despite the threats of Hamas. And they know that we are serious, and they know that we will not stop until we will get all the hostages back home. So I think they understand that we are serious about that. This is a show, but what we are doing on the ground, that's for real.
So you are waiting for...
Yes.
Ambassador Latika Berg from the Nightly Australia. Our Prime Minister is going to tell the UN that one of the reasons they are recognising Palestine is because of your continued settlements in the West Bank and settler violence. Does Israel not share part of the blame for why so many of your traditional friends are now moving against you?
Absolutely not. And I want to remind you that exactly 20 years ago, we actually took out all the Jewish communities, the so-called settlements, from Gaza. We took the cemeteries. We took everybody out from Gaza. And look what happened on October 7th. So no one can make the connection between Jewish communities and hostility of Hamas. There was a ceasefire before October 7th, and still Hamas chose to attack us.
Why do you think the Israelis are moving against you? They're your friends.
I can explain it that, it is a very long war. It is the longest war in our history. Many countries want to take action and to feel that they are doing something. They cannot speak with Hamas. With all due respect to President Macron, the Elysee cannot give instructions to Hamas. So it's easier to come here, make statements, take pictures. They feel they are doing something, but they are not promoting peace. On the contrary, they are supporting terrorism.
Ambassador,
I cannot hear one by one, please.
Ambassador, we have a question over here.
So
Okay, Ambassador.
I will answer it.
Ambassador, will there be a reaction by Israel to these recognitions? It's Pamela Falk from U.S. News and World Report.
Prime Minister Netanyahu was very clear about it. We will take action because what are we seeing now is a unilateral action. And those issues were supposed to be negotiated between Israel and the Palestinians in the future. We tried to do it in the past, many times. But to come to the UN and try to bypass it and grant recognition unilaterally, there will be consequences for that. Regarding the question of Syria, there are talks with Syria. We are waiting to hear President Giuliani words on Wednesday, and I'm sure you're going to hear also the Prime Minister words about this issue as well.
Mr. Ambassador, is yesterday's formal recognition is yesterday's formal recognition by the UK of the State of Israel on par or even stronger endorsement compared to, say, 108 years ago when the same country endorsed your country to be the State of Israel effectively?
So I want to remind you what happened when the UK actually, the British mandate was over and a vote came to this building to recognize Israel and an Arab state. We said yes, we grabbed the opportunity. The Palestinians said no, they rejected the opportunity. So no one can blame us for that. And I think, some countries will say that they will not recognize the Palestinian state until Hamas will be out of the game or until the hostages will come back. But they have to look at the reality. There is a very weak leadership today to the Palestinians. In Gaza there is no leadership. Hamas will not be there. But also in Judea and Samaria, we see a very weak regime. It will be very hard for this regime to negotiate in the future.
You said that there will be reactions to those recognition from France and other countries. What exactly will be the reactions? What will your government do?
Well, that's for the government to decide. Prime Minister Netanyahu said it will not be discussed now. He will be coming to the UN, deliver his speech. He will fly to Washington to meet President Trump. And when he will come back to Israel after our holiday, the Jewish New Year, he will discuss what the actions will be.
So, what is missing to...
Oh, you go. That's all right.
Thank you. What is missing to get Israel back to a ceasefire?
So we are willing to negotiate a ceasefire. We know what it will look like. At the end of the process, Hamas will not be there. So we are still negotiating, and we are talking with the negotiators, and we hope that there will be continuation for that. But the end game, it will be that Gaza will not have Hamas control.
You say that these Western leaders, Australia, the UK, are making this decision partly based on their own voters in those countries' public support to end the war. Polls suggest that most Israelis also want an end to the war. What is wrong with listening to the people?
Well, for sure we want to end the war. No one wants to send his kids to fight in Gaza. My late father fought in Gaza. I fought in Gaza. My son fought in Gaza. How many generations? We have no desire to be in Gaza. That's why we pulled out of Gaza. But at the same time, we have a commitment for Israeli citizens who were kidnapped on October 7th and are still in the tunnel of Gaza. We cannot leave them behind. So with all due respect, and I agree with you, that you have a lot of domestic issues in different countries, but with all due respect to those domestic issues, for us it's a non-starter. We will make sure the hostages are out of Gaza.
Hi, Marina Usher, CBC News. 142 countries have voted to endorse the framework of a two-state solution. What do you have to say to them?
I told them that when they voted on this resolution, that it's a theater They know it's not going anywhere. It's not going to change the lives of the Palestinians on the ground. It's not going to change the security of Israelis on the ground. It's empty. And that's the problem with the Palestinians. They come here every year. They have empty victories, empty declarations, instead of actually condemning terrorism and build a better future. And as I said earlier, we left Gaza in 2005. We gave the keys to the Palestinians to build a better society and promote coexistence, and we saw what happened after.
Hello. Hi. Yes, you have said, you have said that you would speak, you would negotiate and talk to a dialogue with the Palestinians if they had a different leadership. What would you talk about, given that your Prime Minister has just said that there will never be a Palestine west of the Jordan River?
We discussed with the Palestinians so many times, but today we have to be honest and to acknowledge that there is no partner on the other side. We all speak about Hamas, but the fact that the PA itself paying salaries to convicted terrorists, President Abbas himself, you cannot ask him because he's not coming here, but you can ask his representative why they have the pay-to-slay policy. 2 weeks ago there was an attack in Jerusalem, 6 Israelis were murdered. The families of the terrorists will receive a monthly payment of $1,000. It's coming from the pocket of President Abbas. So that's not a good sign for us. The people of Israel pray for peace. We want to have peace, but we want to know that we have a partner for that.
You may have answered this question before, but can I check? I mean, the fury of your Prime Minister in terms of his response to the recognition of Palestine was clear. Do you rule out the annexation of the West Bank as a kind of backlash response?
First, I don't like the word annexation. I call it applying sovereignty. When something belongs to you, you don't annex. And I think it's a decision that the government will have to discuss. I don't know if you do it as a counter effort. In the past, we applied sovereignty over the Golan Heights, over East Jerusalem, but that's a discussion for the government.
You're not ruling out the possibility of annexation of the West Bank, a move that would be widely seen around the world as the death knell of a two-state solution.
So as I said earlier, everything will be discussed in the government upon the return of the Prime Minister from the meeting with President Trump on Monday. Okay, we'll have
Ambassador,
one last one. Yeah.
what news do you have about the hostages?
I cannot hear.
What news do you have regarding the hostages?
So we just saw a video that was released by Hamas a few hours ago where we can see the condition of the hostages. Horrible footage. We believe that 20 of the hostages are alive, but in a very bad condition. In a few weeks it's going to be 2 years in captivity. Some of them need medical care, but they don't get visitations from the Red Cross or from anyone else, and we know that they're in a very bad shape.
Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu said today in a meeting with the IDF General Staff for the Jewish New Year that in the coming year Israel needs to destroy the Iranian axis. What can you tell us about what parts of that axis Israel will be focused on in the coming year, and what are you going to do to try to achieve that?
Well, first we achieved a lot in the last 12-day war against Iran. I think thanks to the US, we can call it a great victory. And we see the snapback sanctions are now in place. And I hope that the Iranians will understand that now it's up to them to decide where they want to go. If they will go back to where they were, then the Western world will stand with Israel against them. I hope that they will change course and will understand that they have to invest in the people of Iran and not in building a nuclear threat. Thank you very much. Thank you.
allez être à l'intérieur, pas à l'extérieur, à l'intérieur.
Officer.
Thank you.